Hello everyone and welcome back to the Retro Recall. I hope you're doing awesome. Today we have a very special guest back on the bench, the Dell Latitude D630, and this particular machine is my personal machine I bought brand new back in the day. I've already done a video on this laptop, so we're not going to be spending a lot of time on this, but if you haven't seen that video, I did it right there, so please check it out. Definitely an awesome video, and I even show the original invoice I got with this machine. Now, the reason I brought this back out and basically inspired me to do this video today is because people have been making a lot of comments referencing this particular line of laptops to other machines that have been upgraded over the years. Now, the Dell D Series Latitude D Series laptops, the D630, the D620, the 610, even 600, that whole line were very, very well built. I mean, again, the chassis is extremely solid. You can see how great condition this machine is even after all these years. And again, this is my personal machine. I remember buying this early in the day, playing World of Warcraft on it. And even today, arguably, I have Windows 10 currently installed on it, and it works just fine. It sports the T-Series Core 2 Duo or Intel Citrino Duo processors. The RAM is very upgradable. You can switch out the mechanical drive with an SSD and keep on going. And these particular machines, like I said, just look the part. It's just really nice design. It feels extremely robust. The keyboard is absolutely solid and definitely gives Lenovo a run for the money, yet I will tell you, ThinkPads are still my favorite keyboard. But either way, I just fell in love with this machine back in the day, and I still, like I said, been using this up until recently. So as you can see, this particular machine is in extremely awesome condition. So why are we still talking about it then if I already did a video on this laptop? Well, this is why. And through the magic of a jump cut, here we are with 5 more Dell D630s. There's a whole story behind this. We have lots to do. Let's get right to it. And welcome back. And like I said earlier, we have 5 individual Dell D630s. At least I think they're all D630s. We're going to go through them here. And they're all in various states of repair or functionality. We have some of these extra batteries, which of course are the 9 cells versus the good old standard 6 cell, which is what was in my laptop that I showed a moment ago. And so we're going to go over these machines in detail and kind of see what state they're in and make little notes. Because I want to try to, form up a replacement machine, try to get one of these absolutely up and running to the specs, basically the most specs I can get out of what hardware we have available in front of us today. So let's start right away. Let's kind of clear the bench off here and get to system number 1. And here we are with Dell Latitude system number 1. And I just think it's absolutely funny because when I was reading all the comments in the last couple of videos, as I mentioned, I was thinking about doing this video. I already had these systems on the bench. So we have the Dell machine here now. It is showing a little bit of scratches on the surface of the machine. And we have this gouge going on right along here, right on the surface of the cover. And, it's unfortunate, but, we're going to take the best what we can out of the conditions of these machines and go from there. So let's look over the machine. So on the front, we do have a battery populated. Not sure if it will hold a charge. We're going to find that out. Along the side, we do have the good old modular bay. These are the Dell modular bays that go in and out. Obviously, you can put another battery in here or a floppy disk at the time, or of course the optical drive. And this is the DVD-ROM, CDRW is what is installed in this particular machine. A couple USB ports. Along the back, looking good so far. We have our network and built-in modem here. We have 2 additional USB, a serial port, VGA, power, ventilation. Along the other side, we have some information here written. It says XP Clean on it. Not sure exactly what that means. We have our Kensington lock, couple audio. We have a smart card, infrared, on off for our wireless, and then it says RAM cover, hard drive cover, so probably indicating that we need those installed. But we do have the hard disk, as you can see, currently installed. Looks to be a platter drive. Along the back, we have some memory. So it looks like DDR2 memory. We have some regulatory information along the back. We have the good old docking station for Dell. We have the battery, as I mentioned before. And these batteries were really cool because if you push down on the battery indicator, if it had any charge, it would light up to show you how much charge was truly in this machine at the time. So again, this has the 2 gigabytes of memory, and we only have the one SODIMM module because that's only the one that's accessible to the end user. So again, you can upgrade these. I believe it's up to 8 gigabytes of memory, 2 4 gig sticks. Again, it's not soldered. There's no memory soldered on the board on these ones. So we're missing the screw to the hard disk, and as we know, the cover's off on this. This is a D620. All right, so we know we have a 620. As you can see, they almost look identical, probably due to the fact that they came in different models at the time. In terms of cosmetic conditions, this looks really good on the inside. We don't have any issues with the numbers, keys, or any of the lettering coming off the keyboard. The keyboard feels pretty good from what I'm seeing here. You know, if you had any sort of water damage or, you know, things spilled in the keyboard, you'd have some sticky going on there. We don't have that. You don't even have the wearing out of the trackpad either, which is really nice. Let's plug this machine in and see what we get. Do we get any post? Do we get any life out of this? And so we just have your typical Dell barrel plug here that should just fit. Yeah, so far so good. Let's open it up, hit the power button. We do see the charge light on, so that's good. And we'll hit power. We have lights coming on. Everything seems to be firing up. I don't see anything on the screen yet. Let's get the camera reoriented here. Okay, so we're not getting anything on screen. We do have our power and our battery indicators on, but nothing else is coming on screen just yet. I'm gonna give it another second just to see. I didn't see the num lock or the scroll lock or the caps lock or anything flash when I turned it on either. And just in case it's a memory problem, because of course every time I touch memory I tend to have problems, I'm gonna get some contact cleaner. That's just something I do on older machines just to be absolutely sure we have the good contact of the pins. There we are. That's the power button again. Okay, I did see the lights light up this time. I thought I saw something on screen. Let me see if we have a brightness control. We have function yet. And I believe this is brightness. And I'm not getting any activity in the hard disk either. I mean, it spins up, but I'm not getting any sort of activity light. So I don't know if it's hung up on something. So, I mean, it could be a backlight we could have an issue with, or just the machine itself is having some difficulty. So let's get an external monitor hooked up just in case there's something to do with the LCD itself. Okay, we're set back up. I have the trusted HP on the bench. We know this monitor works just fine. Again, I just opened up the machine, plugged it back in. We do have the battery indicator. Let's turn the power on and see if we get anything on screen. Yeah, nothing so far. Let's use the function key to see if I can move it to the display. And even sometimes if you don't use that function key, it sometimes will do a dual or mirror display. But again, I'm not even getting anything from that. Yeah, nothing on the screen. I'm gonna turn it off one more time. I'm just gonna take the memory stick out completely, the one that we have there, just in case. I mean, with the memory cover off, I mean, it's very potentially that this was one of the problems. And I don't remember Hynix memory coming with these machines. So this may be an upgrade or might be a bad stick of memory. So the one that's currently in the machine should work for us. Okay, hit the power button again. Let's go back to function CRT LCD. Yeah, nothing. Okay, so I mean, we have 4 other machines to go through here in a moment. So system number 1, we understand that we do have memory out of it. It does still have memory installed, otherwise it wouldn't even go this far. But we don't have any display on the LCD itself, and we've even tried the external monitor here. So we don't see anything going on. And the machine just is not liking the battery. I don't know if it's the battery. I don't know if it's the power. Usually it's plugged in. It just works just fine, especially with the indicators on. But we are having some definite issues with this machine. So far, machine number 1 is not going to be the foundational candidate for our build. Okay, let's remove this and move on to system number 2. And here we are with system number 2. I just kind of left the monitor on the bench all ready to go just in case we need it again. Plus we have our cable, our charging adapter, and then our system that we just tested is sitting over here. I have the other pile to my left. And I also made some notes just to kind of keep track of where we're going. All right, when it comes to the exterior so far, this definitely has a few scratches in it. I mean, that's from wear and tear. Maybe not everybody treated their machines like I did, but it's, you know, I always get discouraged when I see these machines scratched up. We do have our 6-cell battery. We can tell that because we don't have that extra kind of addition to, like, well, they say it's like a palm rest or whatever. I always hated the look of those, but when you put that in, it just kind of creates that front black bezel, but I do like the look of this better. So we do have that 6-cell battery. On the side again, we do, this time we have our CDRW, we have our DVD-RW. So this is a different model because this one comes with a DVD-RW drive, but again, interchangeable, right? It's a modular drive, and you can put that in any of these machines in this form factor. 2 additional USB along the back. On this configuration, we do what looks to be identical as the other one. We do have our integrated NIC and, of course, our modem, a couple USB serial VGA power, and our CPU ventilation. On the other side, we have audio. We have a FireWire connection on this one. I don't think we have that in the other one. We do have our smart reader as well as our on-off. All right, so we do have a D630 this time, so that gives me some promise. And the inside as well looks to be in really good condition, to be honest as well. And if you notice the LCD screw rubbers that go on there to kind of protect the screw from being exposed so the end user wouldn't see those to remove them, they're coming off. Mine actually fell off on one side. Again, the person who donated these machines to me, hopefully forgive me if I steal one. But over here we have 2 missing. Now the hinge, I will notice on this one, is a little loose. Like there's a lot more play in this hinge. The keyboard itself, oh yeah, the keyboard itself is in really good shape. The bezel is actually flat down. There's nothing popping up or creaking there. And we have a really, what looks to be a really good trackpad condition. The case badges that would show the CPU and Windows version are missing, but that's fine. There's no scratches or anything. And usually, you know, if these were heavily used, you see the oils from your hands would make indentations or marks in the plastics along here. And we're not seeing any of that on this as well. So it looks to be in good shape that way. Let's take a look at the back. Okay, so we do have RAM cover. We do have a hard drive cover here as well, which is great. So it looks like we have a complete machine in terms of the cosmetics. Let's take a look at the memory real quickly just to see what we have installed in this machine. There's obviously going to be some on board. Yeah, so we don't have any expansion memory installed currently, but we're going to see what is currently installed, assuming we can get this machine to post. Okay, there we are. Flip it back around, plug it in, and we'll see what machine number 2 does for us. So I saw it flashing there on the indicator, the battery indicator. Okay, and let's hit the power button and see what happens. All right, there we go. We actually have something on the screen. Please run the setup program. Time of day is not set. Please run setup program. Strike the F1 key to continue, F2 to run the setup utility, or F5 to run onboard diagnostics. I really like the onboard diagnostics that came with these machines as well as Hewlett-Packard because it really gives you a sense of the hardware before you even start getting into anything else. All right, we're just going to go into the setup utility to see what we have. So the Latitude D630, the BIOS version is there. It seems it's been updated up to 2013. CPU info, we have the Core 2 Duo processor running at 2.2 gigahertz. It says we have 4 megabytes of processor cache, dual core presence, yes. Memory, we have 1 mega RAM. It says here, due to the amount of memory being assigned for system use, memory available is less than memory installed. It says here, memory speed is 666 megahertz, DDR2 SD RAM. It says memories in dual channel mode, but hey, we don't have that memory installed. We have a 100 gigabyte drive installed according to this. We have the Quadro NVS 135M dedicated graphics. That's something that I had in my D630 as well, as the dedicated graphics came with. We have Sigmatel 9205. We have our modem controller. Wi-Fi is our Dell wireless. We don't have cellular or Bluetooth installed. Mine does have a Bluetooth modular, but I never did get that cellular adapter. I just never saw the need of it. We have the AC adapter as well. Battery info, says charging, 0% charge. I doubt very much it's going to get anything out of it. Battery health, it says it's performing normally, but we'll see if it, again, these machines have been turned off for so long. We have June 4th of 2013. It's currently 12 a.m. according to this. And our boot sequence and all that fun stuff. So we won't go into all this stuff because, quite frankly, it's irrelevant to what we're doing. But we do have a working, functioning machine that is posting with 1 gig of memory. Obviously, we need more than that in this machine. A battery, obviously, would be nice if it worked. And then, of course, the 2.2 gigahertz CPU is nice to see, especially the Core 2 Duo family. All right, so good news for system number 2. Okay, so just before we move on to system number 3, I just want to call out, I had system number 2. I just wanted to see if it would boot into anything. It did. It booted right into Windows 10. And when I say right into, I mean several minutes later because it only has that 1 gig of memory that was installed, and it was painfully slow, plus the platter drive. So, but again, I just wanted to see if it would actually boot into an operating system, and it did. So Windows 10 is installed on that machine. So far, that machine is the most cosmetically and of course technically functional machine so far. We have another Dell, looks like to be, like I said, 630, but it could be a 620 as we've seen earlier. So you can see the difference in this machine because the battery that is installed is one of those 9-cell batteries. So I just do not like the look of this. I think it takes away from the sleek design, but if you're a power user and you're doing a lot of traveling, you're able to go around with the extra battery life. But I'm telling you, it just takes away from the look of the machine, plus adds a bit of heft to the machine as well. So we have that in the front. We'll just continue on. There's our latch, there's our battery. On this side, we do have a similar drive as we had in the other one. So we have a DVD RW as well. The other one just had the DVD reader in system number 1. And along the back, it looks to be identical again. We've seen this show already, so you guys know what the back is, but it seems to be in really good shape so far. Check the other side here. Now we have some information. So it says here we have the BIOS locked, and we have, it says XP D630, needs battery, caddy, SSD. So I'm just going to throw that on top for now. So we do have, along the side, we do have the same thing as before. It does say it's a D630, but there's our hard disk that is saying that maybe we need the cover for it. And again, we have our PCM card and our smart card as well. Along the back, we have Windows Vista Business Key, bunch of regulatory information. Let's see what we have in terms of memory. It did say the BIOS is locked in this particular machine, so it's going to be interesting to see if we're able to get this going or not. Okay, so we have some Kingston memory installed this time, and it looks like to be 2 gigabytes of DDR2 5300S memory. We're going to leave it installed for now. I like Kingston brand, so when we go to make a machine, definitely going to probably borrow that memory from this machine. Okay, let's look at the inside. So the inside looks to be in relatively good shape. No fading of any of the letters or numbers on the keys. Keyboard feels really good, so nothing's been, well, nothing evidence has been spilled. We have D630 written here, so we know it's a D630 machine, which lines up with what was written on the tape. We do have a really good looking track point and pad here, not anything worn out. Usually these little nubs get really worn out if they're used. I always found that even though mine had the same one, I never used it, but yet on my Lenovo's I did, or IBM ThinkPads I did. So it's interesting how on the Dells I just never did. I only use this. Okay, looking around, we have Core 2 Duo inside this time. Mine have the Intel Centrino. And then, of course, we have Windows Vista case badges. You know, cosmetically, this looks really good, which is nice. Even the top looks really good. We don't have any sort of real deep scratches. We have some scuffs here and there, but nothing too bad. Let's hit the power button and see what happens. We have nice and bright lights here this time. There we are. We have the D630 loading. It says RTC mode fixed. This computer system is protected by a password authentication system. You cannot access the data on this computer without the correct password. Please type in the administrator password or press enter. So it's not locked. It's locked. It's not. Did I read it as blocked? I did. All right, everybody, I stand corrected. The BIOS is locked, everyone. I'm not even going to edit that out. That's just me being silly. I didn't read it. So I thought it was locked as in blocked, as in bricked, right? Like the BIOS is corrupt. But in this particular case, it is saying, hey, I can't get in without that BIOS password. So I'm going to have to find a way to bypass that to be able to utilize this system. But definitely a good challenge. We'll do that. We'll do that as well. But we can definitely get by that. So we do have, like I said, a really good cosmetically looking machine. It does look like it's powering up absolutely no problem. I'm really curious what it is in here in terms of hardware because of the Core 2 Duo inside. Mine had the Citrino Duo. I mean, I realize that they're all different variants of the same T-Series type CPU, but this is obviously slightly newer, so I like that. I like that option. Okay, so we have system number 3, which looks to be cosmetically just fine outside of a missing caddy for the hard disk, the bezel, but we do have that on the other machine, and get rid of that silly 9-cell battery. And outside of that, I think this machine will be pretty good once we get past that BIOS locked issue. Okay, here we are with system number 4, another Dell laptop. This time I'm looking cosmetically, it looks pretty good. There's definitely a lot of grime on this one. Looks like there's some coffee, some marks, some dirt. Yeah, definitely needs some TLC. You can see how it's deeply, it looks like something was spilled on this, to be honest with you. It also looks, the bezel in the back also looks bent, and it also looks cracked. On the front, we do have our 6-cell battery. The other side, we do have our DVD RW this time, so it matches the last 2 machines that we have. Along the back, everything looks identical as other machines, except for the fact that we do have our guard for our heatsink and fan assembly. On the other side, we do what looks like we do have an infrared reader, whereas before on the other 2 machines, we had our FireWire connection, PC card, as well as our PCM CIA. Let's open up the inside and take a look. Yeah, okay, so we definitely have a little more wear on this machine. So it says designed for Windows XP. So yes, these machines did come with Microsoft Windows XP. We have a Dell Latitude D620. Keep in mind, they're interchangeable parts between the two. Different series, obviously later has different design qualities. The keyboard itself is good, definitely really dirty. Seems to be a little more wore out. The camera's not really picking it up too much. But you can see in the palm rest, you can see there's definitely some wearing going on in the palm rest. And this is what I was speaking about earlier. The heavier used machines definitely have the oils from your hand sink into the palm rests as well as the keys. And you can always see the most commonly typed on keys because these are definitely more worn out than the others, where I didn't really see that on the other machines. Okay, let's check the underside for a moment to see what we have going on in the back. So we have Windows XP Professional, just gives us our license information. Let's see if there's any sort of memory installed on this in this machine. So yeah, we don't have any memory installed, so we're going to be relying on, if it does post, the memory that's underneath the keyboard. And yeah, we're just gonna have to deal with that as we go. But all the other bezels look like they're installed. There's our hard disk bezel installed, and of course that cover for the memory. But outside of that, it looks good. Let's plug this in and see if the light comes on. No, I did not get any light this time light up, but that may or may not be an issue. Let's open it up and hit the power button and see what happens. Okay, so we do have the power coming on. Latitude D620. So we are getting post, which is wonderful. Invalid configuration information, please run setup programs. The same stuff, the CMOS battery obviously is dead in this. F2 to run the setup utility. D620A08 is the BIOS version installed in this machine. We have 2007 date code. CPU info, we have our Core 2 Duo processor running at 1.66 gigahertz with 2 megabytes of L2 cache. Memory info, we do have that 1 mega RAM installed. We know that what comes underneath, but again, you can upgrade that. Device info, we have a 120 gigabyte hard disk installed in this particular case. Our video is Intel 945 GM graphics. So this would be the Intel integrated graphics with 8 megabytes of video memory. And we know before we had the NVIDIA memory. I think it was the 135M mobile chipset, but it was dedicated memory of 128 megs. We have a 14-inch screen, so all the screens seem to be the same so far. And then we have our Sigma-Tel audio. Battery info, I mean, it says battery not installed. There's clearly one installed, but it's just not, yeah, it says cannot communicate with the battery. So the battery's dead, the cells are dead. Obviously, the CMOS battery is dead as well. So much to do on this particular machine. But outside of that, it's posting. That's a really good sign. I'm going to exit this and see if it actually boots into an operating system, just because in the last one where we did have post, I didn't show anybody that, but it did boot into Windows 10. So let's see if this actually boots into an OS. Okay, we have Windows XP installed on this machine, and we know that these are capable of running Windows 10. At least we do have one machine running that. I personally am running Windows 10 on my own D630. Now this is a D620, slightly lower end CPU. It depends on what you want to do with them. This does have the integrated graphics, so you're more limited versus using the dedicated graphics that we saw on the other machine. Okay, so it did show a pile of personal information on the screen. Overall, the system is posting, it's functioning, a little more worn for sure, a little less sophisticated in terms of the CPU. And of course, we only have that 1 gigabyte of memory, but this machine was designed for Windows XP. Not to say we couldn't swap it out or upgrade it. Okay, let's go to our final D something laptop. Okay, here we are with our final Latitude machine. And of course, it does have that horrendous, in my opinion, 9-cell battery. Yes, I'll keep on saying it because I just don't like the look of it. Now, cosmetically, the screen itself looks pretty good. We do have this kind of U-shaped gouge in the bezel, the front cover, but that's unfortunate for sure. Can't really buff that out. On this side, we do have what looks like a DVD multi-RW drive as well. On the back, again, identical. We've said this over and over again, except this time we do have really good shape around our exhaust port, so we don't have any worries about the plastics or melting or anything like that. Now, it does have, obviously, a sticker on it, so let's see what it says. It says we have a D630, it says 2.5 gigahertz, 4 gigabytes of RAM, missing caddy hard disk, and it says better. So I don't know what that means in terms of what it is, but we'll keep on going. So, well, it's missing everything here. So we don't have our caddy or our hard disk, so we can probably take that from somewhere else. We do have our FireWire, our on-off for our Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity if it has Bluetooth. Kensington lock, which actually does look like it's been used. A couple audio jacks, which is nice. Let's check along the bottom. We have designed for Windows Vista Business, and we have our beautiful docking port, but we do have a cover. Now, it said it has 4 gigabytes of memory, at least on the sticker. Let's verify that the extra 2 gig is installed in this machine, because we know that, yeah, so let's take a look. Let's see what we have first. I won't say anything else till we take a look here. So it is 2 gigabytes of a DDR2 memory, which means the base memory under the hood is 2 gigabytes, assuming that that sticker is correct. But we are going to find out, because we can't just take the word of some sort of tape on a machine, can we? Okay, let's flip it around and plug it in. See if our light comes on. It did, so it's communicating with the battery. With the screen open, you can see that it's trying to charge the battery. I think it's not going to, actually, based on that communication. The keys are definitely worn. Again, hard to see on the video. The camera doesn't really pick it up, but in person, you can definitely see the keys are definitely worn. A lot of dirt around the keyboard area, and the keyboard itself, I mean, is fine, you know, to type on, just really dirty. And of course, the battery protrudes from the front. Our palm rests, I'm just taking a look in the reflection. You can see here, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but there's definitely some it's more worn in these areas. If this has all the good stuff in it, we're definitely going to take some parts out of this one and make a really good one. Okay, let's hit that power button and see what happens. Anything? Oh, oh my goodness, look at that screen. Oh, it's terrible. Okay. I don't know. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but the screen definitely has some issues going on. Let's do a little tilt test here. Sometimes the communication or there's like the cable that goes up through is worn, and I'm just giving this a little tilt back and forth, and sometimes it will fix it, but no, because there's like a lot of orange and yellows going through here that, should just be really gray. And it says that please type in the system administrator password, invalid password. Having a 2.5 gigahertz Core 2 Duo would be absolutely wonderful to put into another machine for sure. But, it's unfortunate. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time trying to guess a password I'm never going to guess. So we do have a functioning machine. It's a Dell Latitude D630, which is again wonderful. But you saw the cosmetic condition of my machine, and then you see all these machines. So these definitely need some TLC for sure. Okay, so I think we're pretty good now. We have a good understanding of what these machines all comprise of. So let's go to our outro. And here we are at the end of part one of the Dell Latitude D Series Laptop video. Regardless of the state of these machines, just look at them. I love the cosmetic look or the design of these laptops and the build quality of them. But you can see the various states of repair that they're in because of the various uses they've been in over the last several years. So we have system number one, it won't post. We are missing covers and bezels, and cosmetically it's been pretty scratched. The inside looks really good though. So it could potentially be a donor keyboard potentially. We do have that 2 GB memory stick that's sitting inside of it as well, but again, it just will not post no matter what I do. I am going to take the battery out. I never thought about doing that, taking the battery out and trying to see if it'll post. As of this current state, is not posting. We have system number two, it does post. We have 1 GB of memory. We have a Core 2 Duo 2 gigahertz CPU currently installed with a hard disk that does boot to Windows 10. Unfortunately, only has that 1 gig of memory, as I mentioned. Cosmetically, there's minimal scratches, so that seems to be a really good shape machine. And the battery, the CMOS battery, does need to be replaced. But it looks like the battery was holding a charge, I believe, based on my notes. But again, something we need to consider. But cosmetically, it's really decent shape, so definitely a contender to be a foundational machine to build. We have system number three. It does post. It asks for a BIOS password. It is 2 GB of onboard memory. Not sure if it actually has 4 GB or not. We can't get into the BIOS to see what's been installed. The hard disk did spin up. It does need that hard drive bezel though, that outer kind of cover. It does have that 9-cell battery that protrudes from the front, but it does seem to be holding a charge because I did unplug it and the machine was still running and still working. Cosmetically though, again, it's minimal scratches in this, and that is another D630. And for system number four, we did have it post to Windows XP. It is running the slower version of Core 2 Duo 1.6 gigahertz. It is D620. We have the hard disk running Windows XP, as I mentioned, 6-cell battery. Unfortunately, does not recognize that battery, so we cannot use that. And cosmetically, we have a worn keyboard and palm rest on this particular model. Over here, we do have the Dell 630 as well. This, according to that yellow piece of tape with some writing on it, is the most powerful of all these machines that we have here, being a D630 with a 2.5 gigahertz CPU. So it'd be interesting to see if that's what's truly installed. With the BIOS, unfortunately, is locked with the password. So be interesting, like I said, checking the service tag to see what may have come with this machine. We do have 2 GB of memory that we physically inspected, but again, we'd have to lift the keyboard off to see if it's truly the 4 GB or get into that machine, clearing the password for the BIOS. And of course, we did notice that it has that bad screen. So it's very unfortunate, but do we have any donors, anybody? So we don't know what we're going to do just yet, but definitely something that we need to consider with this LCD being bad. Number two seems to be, again, a D630, but also seems to be the better shape of all the machines. And if it truly is the D630 as this, they're perfectly interchangeable with parts. So we could potentially take out the CPU from this machine and pop it in there, as well as if this has 4 GB of memory, or if I can find a 4 GB stick of DDR2, it can go to 6 or 8 GB of memory, and then do a complete clean and restoration on that machine. That seems to be the better of all of them so far. But again, let me know down in the comments, do you think we should, rob one of these machines of their parts to make a really good machine, which is what my original intent was, or do we try to restore as many of these as we can through that process? Let me know in the comments. I really want to hear what you think about it and see if we can actually start to revive these beautiful Dell Latitudes. That said, if you liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. We're approaching 14,000 subscribers. We're so close. Thank you so much for everyone who supports this bad habit of mine. Hit the bell icon, hit the notification, change it to all. You'll be notified of new content such as this. Please leave a comment down below. Did you own any of the Dell Latitude 600 series? I really want to hear your stories with them. I love to hear about the configurations because, again, I'm a personal owner of the D630 from brand new. What should we do with these machines? Are you interested in seeing them restored one by one, or should we really focus on taking the best out of what's here and making a really good, solid machine? I'm always making new content. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.